What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around all of this and decide where the decision really came from. But a fan named Eddie showed me the TCG player seller blog, somewhere I wouldn't have been. I usually buy and sell on eBay when I buy and sell, mostly Godzilla figures these days, something I couldn't do over here. But TCG player is a mainstay for many TCG communities, Magic, Pokemon, and of course Yu-Gi-Oh! If you've watched Market Watch, you've seen other YouTubers talk about these sort of prices. They typically feature TCG player as a resource on there, and we can also see movements in the market before they happen elsewhere on here. So with that in mind, this is going to change that kind of content because there's going to be new restrictions in place, also new availabilities in place for buyouts. At the end of the day, TCG player is the big winner from these updates. It does fix an issue I've had a frustration with as a consumer on TCG player with before, but I also feel like at the end of the day, it makes overall the pockets of the consumer spend more and the sellers end up getting more overall as well. We'll just go ahead and get into their statement and talk about it. I think as the consumers, it's still a compromise. It's still a place that fixes an issue, but at the same time, it favors the sellers more and then TCG player more. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. In January, the USPS, aka the United States Postal Service, increased their rates, making it more difficult for sellers to profit when selling low-value orders online. In response, we've been engaging with our community and listening to suggestions. Based on feedback from both buyers and sellers, we'll be implementing changes with the following goals in mind. Increase profitable orders for our sellers. Yeah, you see how they're appealing to the seller right there? Okay, anyways, I digress. Account for the USPS rate increase while ensuring more orders can be profitable than ever before. Make it easier for buyers to shop on TCGplayer.com. The easier it is for buyers to shop, the more orders they'll place. Yikers Island there. They are literally just putting their message right there, and that's where my frustration lies. It's like, okay, yeah, it'll be more convenient for me as a buyer to shop on here, and it's going to fix a problem. Let's go ahead and get into before we get into this. Let's go ahead into the problem that is fixed. Since we implemented the $2 order minimum in 2017, many sellers have asked us to increase it even more to help offset growing labor and postage costs. Growing labor is the fault of the seller, though, not the buyer. At the same time, buyers have been getting frustrated that they're unable to check out with less than $2 in their carts, ultimately abandoning their orders entirely. That's happened to me a lot. I've filled my cart with $1.50 and the next lowest card from that seller was $3. I don't want that $3 card, and I would have gladly paid just the 50 cents to get there on the order. It became clear that we needed a situation that works for both buyers and sellers, something that better protects sellers when they ship low-value orders, while making it easier for buyers to check out and get cards that they want. I don't think this really helps protect because, oh, well, let's just continue. Starting this summer, we're going to revamp the $2 order minimum with a new shipping and handling minimum on orders under $5. If buyers have less than $5 of products in their cart from a seller, will collect a minimum of 78 cents for shipping and handling on behalf of the seller. TCG player is going to go, hey buyer, give this guy 78 cents if you're at $1.50, but allow you to check out, basically, is what's happening here. So if my store that I prefer to go to is the lowest price, but I couldn't have checked out before, now I can decide to check out for a 78-cent shipping and handling fee, meaning they get paid for their 55-cent stamp, their envelope, their top loader, but there's not really protection offered there because most people don't use tracking under $20, meaning tracking's freaking expensive, you know, compared to low order cost. This will help cover the increased postage and labor cost for sellers while giving buyers the flexibility to purchase the cards they want, even if they total less than $2. You shouldn't be covering labor costs for vendors. A lot of people do this in their spare time in home. That's on them. That's not on the buyer. And that's what I'm kind of frustrated with this message for in the seller blog, that oh, your time. Yes, your time is literally equated into sales, which is equated into money. You are getting paid for your time for what you are putting up there. So that's a little frustrating to me to see that mentality. A buyer adds a 25-cent card in their cart. The seller offers free shipping, but the cart is less than $5. The buyer will see that they needed to add $4.75 in products from that seller to their cart if they want to get free shipping. If they prefer, they can choose to purchase just that card and pay the 78 cents. So you're saying it also protects seller, but the seller in general, but you're going at a cost that will be untracked and you know it. So I don't get how this, in any sense, shape, or form protects the seller more other than giving them a raised total and giving you more of a percent of cash to rake as TCG player. This is where I just see, yes, it makes things more accessible. It makes a more friendly user interface for the buyers to be able to purchase from stores they want at whatever time. Like, let's say the next lowest store price after that $1.50 I want to check out with is some scumbag and they're at $2.10 and I wouldn't have wanted to check out from them. Okay, I wouldn't have. But now, basically, used to you only had to be at $2 to get free shipping. If the seller offered it, right? Now I have to get to $5, meaning that on average, any card we're talking about in the penny stocks, any card we're talking about that's a common that you want to get, you're paying an extra shipping fee on those $2. In my opinion, here's the middle ground that should have been met, but it would have been more frustrating from a consumer standpoint as well, because some would offer it and some wouldn't. But I still think you could have just made some emblem that shows stores that offer this and made it really easy for people to decipher if it is offered. Let the seller decide where their free shipping should lie. Maybe I want to be a seller on TCG Player and sell only commons, and this is going to hurt my business. Maybe I want to go ahead and still offer free shipping at the $2 mark so that I can offload tons of different commons at list them at 8 cents from bulk. But now my sales are going to drive down because people are now having to actually pay extra on those $2 orders. So they're increasing the order by X%. Now, this may seem like a team poor problem on what I'm describing. A lot of people who buy Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles don't mind spending the cost of a pack online, John. At the same time, there's a lot of people grinding out commons on here. There's a lot of cheap orders that I would go ahead and get. So this little bit of an increase over time, think about it in increments, you're actually going to be paying more. How much does that add up over time? How much does that eventually give TCG Player back for this incentive? How much does this give the sellers back for the incentive? The winner is very clear here, in my opinion, but let's go ahead and see what they have to say for buyers. Will this be great for buyers? Check out with even less than $2 in your cart. If you're looking for a few commons, you won't need to add extra items to your cart just to check out. See lower prices. Currently, many sellers are offering free shipping, need to increase their prices to cover high cost of shipping low value cards. After we make this change, sellers won't need to account for this and their listing price, and sellers become used to the new system. You'll see better deals on the marketplace. Cart optimizer improvement. Based on your feedback, we know that removing the $2 minimum will make it easier for you to find better deals and will allow the cart optimizer to make better choices for you. Realistically, this just makes buyouts easier, so that's more so what it actually enables. More free shipping options. As this change protects sellers on low orders, sellers will be much more likely to offer free shipping on orders over $5 now. Really, that's how you see this going. So I still think the average person ordering here, looking for the cheaper cards, looking to just pick up their time thieves, to pick up other kinds of cards, they're going to be paying more overall rather than just trying to hit that $2 and being able to find certain sellers that can accommodate that. It really, the old system rewarded people who had more in stock and were able to push towards the sellers. Let's go ahead and kind of go over to what Reddit has to say about this. And this is the TLDR if you made made it to this point. For everyone's convenience, it's now $5 minimum or pay $78 shipping. And a lot of people are saying, I have no problem paying this. Same, the hassle. So the top comments are all saying, you know what, this is okay by me. And then other people are saying, I don't think people understand this is far worse than before. Now if I want to buy a card that is worth 50 cents, I either have to pay $228 for a playset or pick up 10 for $5. Yeah, basically used to, if they had more in stock, I could just add extra copies and kind of give them to my teammates, give them to friends, or put them in a trade binder and kind of, I believe I'm going to invest in this card, that kind of thing. Now you've got to reach $5 to do that, and people are spending more. That's just what it incentivizes. Whereas before I could just pick up my playset and some other random card, it still forces you to buy more, same as the $2 minimum. But I still think it's, this is probably one of the fairest points. When you're looking out for the seller as well as the buyer, there will be situations where one party benefits more than the other. I personally think this is a good middle ground. Bumping the minimum favors the buyer, especially with the USPS changes outlined, while the 78-cent alternative gives a small cart buyers a break. Yes and no. I've only run into that frustration a couple of times whenever I've been searching, and usually it's alleviated by one of the next sellers. I'm not paying 78 more cents. I was paying a quarter more, 21 cents more. So now that 78 cents more is going to be a constant, or spend $5. So for the lower tier of TCG player, I think this just greatly benefits the sellers. While not perfect, there has to be some protection for the seller. The fees are stated. I still don't think it's really considered protection. Yeah, nice. So the sellers are getting more profit and the customers get charged more. Also, as a customer only, I'm thrilled. Yeah, so it's gonna be split on this topic, right? I do think it's not unreasonable. You're still spending near the price of a pack and a half to 2 packs on these orders, but it does make getting your commons all that less accessible on TCG Player, where you go on eBay and the commons are 99 cents, or they're only selling as play sets. The sellers were fine. They're picking these out of bulk, so they're like penny to 2 penny commons to them, and they're getting their value out of it even by placing the stamp on it, the top loader, etc. They're still by far getting their value and happy with it. That's just how some of them operated. I really think, again, my solution would be like some badge that says, that like signifies levels of shipping and free shipping, and give that to the sellers. Yes, it makes it more complicated for the average consumer, but at the same time, they'll learn, they'll get it. Complications aren't necessarily a bad thing, and giving the seller the option and the buyer the option to choose the sellers would have been, I think, the perfect middle ground, instead of making this blanket, you have to pay X, but obviously that benefits TCG Player the most. That's my take on it, though. I am open to the conversation. I am open to other opinions, and I want to hear your thoughts, your frustrations maybe in the past with hitting that limit, and does this solve a problem for you? I think it does solve a problem. It solves a middle ground. But is it just arguing over pennies too at the end of the day? Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the discussion itself. Even if you disagree with me, I would like to know if you enjoyed the discussion, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll link both of these down below. Thank you so much for watching.